Memorandum of the Abanyamulenge Christian Indigenous Community in Minembwe in South Kivu. 2. United States Department of State. Attention, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Date of February 6th, 2026. We, members of the Abanyamulenge Christian community, gathered today in Minembwe for a peaceful demonstration, address this memorandum to the United States Department of State. 2. To address our grave concern over the ongoing persecution of our people and the role the United States continues to play in sustaining it. Our message is simple and urgent. Peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo cannot be achieved by undoing the root causes of violence or by supporting the governance system that targets civilians with impunity. 1. A fundamental misunderstanding of the Congo crisis. The crisis in the East DRC is repeatedly misunderstood, and USA engagement aimed at the stability must begin with a honest understanding of the root causes of the conflict. The historical governance failures and contamination of our citizenship rights. This issue is exploited by political alternatives for populism, leading to persecution and genocidal massacres of the Abanyamulenge and indigenous Christian Tutsi minority in DRC. Decision these bypass this reality through political pressure, military shortcuts of a selective minority do not reduce violence, they deepen it. 2. Uvira, proof that shortcuts cost civilian lives. For 80 years while under the control of the DRC government, Uvira functioned as a base for attacks against the Abanyamulenge and as the launch pad for violence in Minembwe. The government of Kinshasa has worked in coalition with over 100 militia groups and successfully managed to destroy more than 90% of our churches, approximately 80 of our villages, estimated 600,000 of our cattle looted, destroying livelihoods. Over 85% of our homes, schools, and NGO facilities systematically targeted. Before the USA asked to leave Uvira, the Abanyamulenge community lived under a regime of state insecurity. The Uvira plain Baraka access was punctuated by 17 illegal roadblocks, manned by the National Army and a 100 militia group. A stateless situation, an ethnic exploitation system was in place in a member of the Abanyamulenge Christian community had to pay a fine of 150,000 Congolese francs under threat of summary execution. The Abanyamulenge Christian community were denied access to market, fields, and above all, the Uvira road previously they had also been denied access to public water taps on the groups that they were considered. The tactic employed by these forces was to strive the population in under the subdue them, under the pretext of security, by preventing them from moving freely on their own land and by forcing them to leave the DRC. When the RCM-23 temporarily controlled the city, violence decreased, humanitarian access to Minembwe improved, and civilians experienced relative calm. However, following the unmilitary withdrawal of RCM-23, destruction escalated dramatically. 70% of Abanyamulenge homes were destroyed. 5 churches were destroyed. Countryless shops and the humanitarian and the agencies were vandalized. This comes occurred under the authority of Congolese state of its funded militian and Burundian army. It is therefore legitimate to ask, how can responsibility be shifted elsewhere when these eruptics happened under DRC government control? The US decision was intended to create a path to peace, but has enabled some of the most abusive and the group under the government army to carry out attacks on the Abanyamulenge Christian minority. Independent investigations are emergently required. 3. U.S. support indirect complicity. U.S. involvement in the Uvira cases failed to protect the Abanyamulenge people. The U.S. decision enabled crimes against humanity by the DRC and Burundian governments. The call on the United States to stop funding and legitimatizing a system that fuels hate and violence continue. Finally, military and diplomatic support to the DRC government. Without strict accountability, creates indirect complicity in consideration our denied rights too. It is well known that Congolese army and security services fund army and protect militias responsible for ethnic cleansing, mass displacement, and terror against the Abanyamulenge Christian engineers and other Tutsi civilians. These militias routinely operate under the influence of drugs and sexual violence as a weapon of war. 4. Indiscriminate bombardment of civilians. We demand that the United States required the DRC government to immediately stop the regular indiscriminate defense and disproportionate us over the fighter jets and the drones against civilian villages in Minembwe, Mikenge, Rugezi, Mikalati, Mitamba, Rurambo. These attacks have killed civilians, traumatized the entire community, and destroyed civilian life in clear violation of international humiliation law. 5. Destruction of civilian infrastructure and economic survival. Our hospitals, schools, churches, and homes have been deliberately destroyed daily. Cattle routing, control to Abanyamulenge economic survival continues without